Here's a code walkthrough for the example file SelectionSwitchStrings.java. This is a final example file demonstrating the use of switch, this time using strings as the switching constants. So what we're doing in this one is we are setting up a string and we're performing certain options on that string. For example, we're printing out the length of the string, the first or last character. We're printing out the string as upper or lower case. And now we're allowing two different mnemonics to control that menu. Short little mnemonics like these, or the numbers 1 through 5 as options, except treated as strings. So again, we're setting up a scanner that we're going to use for all our input needs. We're setting up a prompt, and we're setting up a menu. So first we're going to prompt the user to enter some text to be operated upon. Then we're going to print this menu out and prompt the user for an option and normalize that to uppercase. And then what we're going to do is we're going to handle those various options in a switch statement. But now we're switching on strings as opposed to numbers or chars, as we may have seen earlier. So to print the length of a string, we need to either enter the string mnemonic len or the string entry 1. And similarly for all of the other options. Now, once we detect one of these options, all we're doing is we're echoing out the string that we're operating on, tabbing over, and we're printing some aspect of string. If text is a string, remember that these are all different things you can do to a string object. Get its length, get its first character. Remember that this is the general expression for the last character of any string, the length minus 1 character. This is to put it to uppercase, this is to put it to lowercase. So we're just using this as a menu driver to apply various methods to an input string. And let's take a look down here, and there's a default option if we don't want to do any of those things, and then we're going to print the message out. Okay? Pretty straightforward. So as always, let's compile this and let's run this a couple times to show how it works. I'll just free run it. So I'll enter a string. How about hello world? And here are my options. Length of the string, I'm going to do len. Length of the string is 12. Let's do it again. I'm just going to put in some garbage here at the keyboard. I want to return the first character of that, so I'm going to put in a lowercase fir this time, expecting to see the character lowercase s, and I do. Let's run it again for the next option. Another garbage string. Let's take option 3 here, the last character. This time I'll put in a 3, which is actually being read in as a string and not a number. So here we're expecting to see an H, and we do. Run it again for uppercase with some random text. Let's do a mixed case. How about that? Or actually, we'll stick with that. Same string as uppercase. And let's put in an uppercase string. And let's put it as lowercase. And I'll put the low mnemonic. And notice that I'm putting that in as lowercase because it's going to get normalized to capitals. So it's going to take that. And I do in fact get the lowercase result. So let's put a breakpoint on this and just run through this once, a little bit slower. Setting up a scanner, setting up an empty message. Here's the prompt we're going to use for the string. This is the menu prompt. A title. Prompt the user for a string, and I'm going to put some random text in. We're going to read that text in as a string. Then we're going to print the menu, and notice we've got this embedded new line to give us this blank space between the text and the menu. And then if we enter, say, number 1, notice that we're reading that in as a string. And our option is the string 1. It's not a number. We're going to uppercase that, which is kind of meaningless. And now we're going to go through our string. We reach our first option, set up a message. We're at the end of the case. Print out the message, the string and its length. Let's finish this up. And let's run this again. And this time, step through this a little brisker. String, more garbage here. Actually, I'm going to put some uppercase characters in here as well. There's our menu. So this time, let's take the last option. Let's do mixed case LOW. And we're going to read that in as a string. And then we're going to normalize that to uppercase. So notice we're taking what we read in, applying the uppercase to it, and then writing back over it. So notice that it changed permanently in memory. And then we're going to switch on that. And again, notice that in a switch statement, this option is LOW. I don't need to check every single one of these. I can jump right to this fifth option and execute the related operations. Okay, so to sum up then, again, this is keyboard input handling using switch. We've got strings that we're switching on, both a mnemonic and some kind of keyboard input. We've got fall through because we've got a common instruction for two possible case values, which are both strings. And again, we're handling case insensitive input by doing something like this and normalizing to uppercase. And we're simply doing some stuff inside each of the cases to a string. We're just applying the various string methods to the string that we read in. In general, you can have as many lines inside the body of your case as you want to, as long as you're terminating each one with a break. Okay, so that's it for this example.